this idea comes out of conversations between me and Lynn, and then expanded to the professors who teach tutorials this semester in the natural sciences. I learned about the article bar and tag when I was recruited to teach the mentored independent study course that you'll hear about later. It's available almost every year to third semester students who are mentored by Div 3s. So what we discovered was that 9 or 10 tutorial teachers were from the School of Natural Sciences, where a lot of our discussions of the mission and the purpose of Hampshire College in effect center around the paradigm shift from teaching to learning. My own suspicion is that article was written 15 years ago, maybe 17 years ago now, and partly influenced, if not largely based, on the experience of Hampshire College and a few sister schools that several years earlier, 10, 15 years earlier, had started to really pioneer this transition. So welcome to the first, I don't know, to the joint tutorial event for 2010 on the paradigm shift from teaching to learning. What we're going to do today is a mixture of teaching and learning. Kelly was one of the professors in on the planning and couldn't make it to the first meeting. And when he came, he said, what are you planning to do? And when we described it, he said, so you're going to have people down here talking to the students up there, so you're going to be teaching about learning and exhibiting a paradox. So we shifted a little bit since that meeting. And we're going to try to exemplify by doing a little bit of the teaching style and some of what we do in the classrooms and in courses to spark learning. And that's why you had those 2 thought prompts for today. So this event is sponsored by the School of Natural Sciences, by Lynn Miller's generous donation of some money, maybe much money, from his fund for tutorials. Each tutorial professor has a kind of enrichment fund. And by the program headed by Josiah Latant, which is the first year program, including the orientation. You must have met Josiah. Did everybody, you know who I'm talking about when I refer to Josiah? Yeah. In the Office of Student Services. So it's first year services within the Office of Student Services. The order of what we're going to do is a few comments by me, followed by one of those thought prompts for you to kind of pair off in 2s or 3s and talk to each other about what you've come up with as far as your own definition of learning. And then we have 3 students, there was supposed to be 4, but we don't know what happened to the 4th student, who will give you maybe 5 or 6 minutes examples of things that they've done in the Hampshire system with respect to learning without teaching or learning on their own or using some of the mechanisms. Does anyone know what the existing mechanisms are at Hampshire that really embody this learning paradigm? Nobody? Zoe?
Well, there's like independent studies.
Independent studies is one.
You see the EPEC classes.
EPEC classes that are led by students.
There's the HIP classes that I have never really heard too much about, but I know are out there.
Yes, and I don't know what they are. HIP classes.
Yeah, I probably couldn't explain it.
We used to have courses that were taught by and in the house staffs that were kind of house courses. Yes. What's your name?
Matt.
Yeah.
The Division 3 program is
Right.
arguably a huge learning thing and not really an instruction thing.
That's right. It's an independent advanced project or advanced learning activity, whatever it's called, right? So with an independent study, there are teachers. You've got to make a deal with a professor or somebody who's qualified to give course credit, quote unquote. but there's a new course. Lynn, would you like to say a word about the learning activities?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about history.
Lynn would like to talk for a moment about the history of Hampshire Commons. Do you want to say it now?
No.
Okay.
After the students.
Great. So there are two other things that you haven't mentioned yet, and they start with the words learning activities, so they really say what the deal is. In the Hampshire transcript, you can have recorded courses, like Hampshire courses with evaluations, graded courses from the 5 colleges, sometimes other graded courses depending on the circumstances, like in exchange programs. And below the line in the current system is a listing of learning activities. Learning activities defined for below the line is anything that you choose to learn at any time that you can find anyone except yourself to evaluate. So it's very wide open. And when I look back, I found that in 1974, the Academic Senate voted that all of those things, independent studies, courses, 5 college courses, learning activities, and what were at that time called house courses or student-led courses, were all supposed to be listed in the same section on the transcript. And I've yet to find where the vote was taken to make a difference between the two. So as you think forward to what you might do, there are many, many modes, and you'll hear from 3 people who are here that some of the things that I've discussed aren't even necessary, no form at all, to learn what you want to learn. I think that's probably enough introduction. Did I forget anything?
And when you're speaking, speak loudly so that the microphones can hear you.
Are there any questions so far? So the order that I think yes? Okay. So the order I think we should go in is maybe to do a little learning right away. Pair up with other people in the audience and talk to them for a minute about what your definition of learning is that you came to after reading Barr and Tagg. Just for a few minutes. I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes. You guys can join forces. Do you want to turn around and talk? You can talk in 2s and 3s. And if you didn't do this exercise as homework, just try to come to something right now.
I never liked to learning is such a it's because like you know when you actually learn that case but it's like the whole system. That's it. A little bit. And then just if you have any problems, you can't talk anymore. Whereas here, I go talk about it and you need to I'm struggling with this paper of mine. We meet up here. Meet with that's unless you just an example of my example is something I don't want to do. That's what I learned a lot. I prefer this. I learned a lot of skills and I learned about office politics. Sure. So what it's like a problem. It's taking
Yeah, that's, I think that's a weird.
And that's like
A lot. Well, did you guys actually get
Teach polar bears.